News coming out in the last week, though, we found out that Michael Chabon has been officially tapped as showrunner for Star Trek Picard, but they also dropped the bomb, though, that he is not only responsible for the Star Trek short trek Calypso, kind of tied into Discovery, but they also mentioned he's also in charge of the upcoming short trek Q&A, and that got us thinking about, what does this Q stand for here, Cam? What was your idea?
Well, we were throwing back and forth in our, WhatsApp group with our friends what it could mean. And obviously a lot of the Q episodes have plays on the word Q, but who's the A? It's not Vash, we know that, because that's a V. Although maybe it's an upside down V.
Why don't you subtract one letter from that equation?
Yes, but ultimately, I kind of playfully said maybe it means A for Ash, as in Ash Tyler.
So not Q and Vash, but Q and Ash.
That's right. That's right.
I hope that doesn't happen, but it actually got us thinking about why Q probably needs to return to Star Trek Picard in a certain way, though. How do you envision it happening, or is it actually even something that you want to see at this point?
I mean, I'm of two minds. They tied off the Q character perfectly on the final episode of TNG with the All Good Things. Yes, he appeared on Voyager, but in terms of his journey with Picard, All Good Things is so amazing an ending with him fading into the black. But at the same time, if you're going to bring Picard back, it's very difficult to wrap your head around a future for that character that doesn't include Q, because he plays such a prominent role in the journey of Picard throughout TNG that to erase him from the equation is kind of weird, especially for a omnipotent being that can be anywhere and anytime.
And think about the fact that Q said, look, this trial never ends.
Yeah.
If Picard is kind of winding up his journey with this spinoff, I think they need to address that once again. And I think it would just ring false if Q doesn't make any sort of appearance. That said, do I want an entire season with a 4-episode Q arc or anything? I think what they need to do in season 1, though, is kind of establish who these new characters are, what Picard's journey is going to be.
You're like, who is this Picard?
Well, this new Picard, which Patrick Stewart is promising us.
Yeah.
That said, though, I would not be averse to maybe an appearance of Q in maybe the last, 30 seconds of the season 1 finale. You're back in that very famous courtroom scene. I think that could really get people very excited for maybe the potential of season 2 when it all comes back to what Picard's overall existential journey is here.
Sure, it would kind of play like the finale of season 1 Discovery, where you had the Enterprise. It's like that big fanfare moment at the end of the Picard first season. Especially if you're kind of telling an original story in the first season of Picard, kind of hold off the fan service, preferably the TNG cast too. And so then you have Q pop in at the end, teasing a season 2. That to me is definitely cool. Maybe we get some mariachi music in there. But I mean, it would be awesome to just see John Delancey back on screen.
How likely do you think it is that they can hook John Delancey back into this? Because, I don't know, we've gotten a little bit of mixed messages from him in the past.
Yeah, John Delancey has said on stage, if he was asked if they ever made another Star Trek movie or Star Trek TV show, would you want to play Q again? And he was always really cagey and was kind of like, no, I think I'm done with the character. I think my journey was, perfect. There's nothing really to add to it. But he's a working actor. I have a hard time imagining him being like, sorry, Alex Kurtzman, sorry, CBS, sorry, Patrick Stewart, I got other things to do.
Yeah.
I feel like if they could win over Patrick Stewart with a pitch, why couldn't they win over John Delancey?
But I think questions people have been throwing to John Delancey is would you ever return as Q? I don't think John Delancey has ever been assuming that it's going to be Patrick Stewart as his dancing partner. It's do you want to do, Q showing up in the Discovery universe?
Right.
It's I think him knowing that Patrick Stewart is going to be there continuing this very fascinating journey with this very fascinating character, he's going to be down for that. I don't think you have to do too much arm twisting. And honestly, think about the big bucks that CBS is dropping in this.
Yeah.
I think they can pony up a couple dollars for what might be the most iconic Star Trek Next Generation villain antagonist that we've had before. Do you want to see Q in more of his comedic sort of form or more of his sinister sort of form in any potential appearance he has?
I think the more serious or sinister or ominous or whatever kind of mode you see in episodes like Tapestry or All Good Things are the ones that play the best. you're still going to have those little quips in there. I think it would be just fun to see him poking Picard about not being with Starfleet anymore. And, he'd probably drop like a Riker joke or something that the fans would like. Some sort of reference to like whatever happened to that guy, or, about Worf or something like that.
I'm down for that.
Yeah, like that could be fun. It's a way, because the thing is, they want to do the Q again at some point in history, in the future of Star Trek. Like, the Q are hugely prominent, especially within the Berman era.
Okay.
They're going to want to touch on them again.
But I don't want them to touch on them without John Delancey officially passing the torch.
That's why I'm saying, doesn't this make the most sense to
Yeah.
bring Q into the Picard show, where it feels like he belongs, versus like throwing Q, played by some other actor, Matt LeBlanc, in I don't know, in Discovery.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just feel like, I guess, like show doesn't really have this sort of relationship with these godlike aliens. This is kind of odd.
I just want him to appear before Saru and say, "How you doing?"